Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One of the big differences between us as animals and other animals is our ability to reason. And we reason much more. It's a big difference between the rest of the animals, how much they reason and how much we reason. Among us, there are variations of intelligence. That means some people are more intelligent than others, and then you have also a difference between us, a variation of knowledge, how much we know about certain subjects. And then we have another attribute or another way of differentiating among us is the level of knowledge with the level of intelligence put together, okay? And then it's something else. So you are able to look at people and kind of know how much they reason based on the knowledge they have and how they think and how intelligent, how fast, how they process information. Another ability that we have is of thinking ahead, planning ahead. So thinking of 2-3 moves, in the future, planning ahead. An animal, might think one step ahead, maybe 2, 1. But we are better than that. So you can, again, see the value of someone's reason by seeing how far that person thinks, how many steps ahead in any circumstance, like a chess player. Ability to figure out things, what's going to be next, in case he does that and all that. Be a schemer, some people say, but a positive one. So we have this guy who you would expect, I would expect, to be a person who thinks very far ahead. First, because he's old, and old people, lived longer and have a longer life experience. They should have more experience. And experience could be good and experience could be bad. It doesn't mean that if you lived longer, you necessarily know more, because you could have been a dumbass longer. That's the only thing. You didn't understand anything and you just, used oxygen longer than you or I. So a person that's 80, not necessarily is wiser nowadays. Why? Because you don't know what he did with his spare time. Let's put it this way. So he might have had experiences here and there, but if he did not analyze the experiences, he didn't understand anything. He didn't process that experience and say, okay, now let's see, did I learn anything up to this situation? If they don't, they don't. So, it's like the same as that person was before experiencing. Now we have this guy who's going to make some statements. And I think that his statements are very infantile. That means he's not thinking more than one step ahead. He's old. So he's a very important person in I don't know how to put it, in the world. He's a leader in Europe. So he should have a certain kind of weight, you know what I mean? Intellectual weight. Well, he doesn't prove that. Okay, let's go and see. This article comes from The Insider, October 14th, 2022. Russia's army would be annihilated by the West if Putin uses a nuke in Ukraine, senior EU official predicts. This is the gentleman, right? So he's old, he's presentable. He could be a pedophile. We don't know. Presentable people could be, big lovers. So the EU TO diplomat said. That's how it is. EU's TO. I don't know what TO is. Diplomat said Russia's army would be, quote unquote, annihilated if Putin used a nuke in Ukraine. And this guy is Joseph Borrell. Probably you heard about him. Joseph Borrell said the West's response would be devastating but not nuclear. And he says here that Putin has suggested multiple times that he is willing to use Russia's massive nuclear arsenal. That's false. He didn't say, I want to use my arsenal of nuclear weapons and I'm going to bomb the out of you. What he said that if we are attacked, we're gonna activate our doctrine, or we would defend our countries, our country with all military means, which obviously includes, he never said we will use nuclear weapons. You will never find that in his statements. You would find different statements that might include the nuclear weapons as well, but not I'm willing to use nuclear weapons. I haven't heard it. If you did, well, you're way ahead of me. President Vladimir Putin's army would be quote-unquote annihilated by a non-nuclear military response from the West if he were to use a nuclear weapon in Ukraine, a top EU figure predicted on Thursday. Putin, quote-unquote, cannot afford bluffing over nukes, EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said in remarks at the opening of a diplomatic academy in Brussels. So, I don't know, referring to Putin's mobilization and statements, Borrell said that Putin is saying that he is not bluffing. Well, he cannot afford bluffing. Ukraine's supporters, NATO, the EU, and the US are not bluffing either, Borrell said. And any nuclear attack, I'm quoting, against Ukraine will create an answer. Not a nuclear answer, but such a powerful answer from the military side that the Russian army will be annihilated, was his prediction. Now, how many steps do you think Mr. Borrell used? How many steps? So, if Russia hits, we hit him back. One step. That's all what Mr. Borrell was able to mention. And nobody dared to ask him, then what? I think if someone would have asked him, then what? He would have been like, what do you mean? There's more after that? So this is, in this kind of terms, these leaders think. And they are in charge of us. Well, I think that if the West would annihilate the Russian army, which I think that's a stupidity to even think that that's a possibility without nuclear weapons. How are you going to do it precisely? Are you going to use conventional weapons, correct? Okay. Where are they? Are they close enough to be able to destroy the Russian army? You said Russian army. When you say Russian army, that means all of it. It doesn't mean you didn't say half, some. Are you going to hit the ones in Vladivostok too? The ones in the Arctic? No? The ones, no? By Georgia, those ones too? No. The ones in Syria? And what kind of weapons will you use? All of a sudden like that? Or you're going to take time? And what do you think Russia will do then? Do you think that Russia will be winning? No, I think it would be losing. Then what? Then they will really tell you what they're going to do. And we go to the step one. They're going to use nuclear weapons. What are you going to do then? You have to think more further than that, Borrell. Smack, go back to your desk, you're an idiot. You failed the class again. This is the senior, right? Senior European Borrell. Well, this is what we have. These are our leaders. No wonder our civilization crumbles with these people. No wonder we have to obey all kind of perversions and a status quo that's imposed on us with these people. Do you think this guy is gonna just show his bare chest and say, shoot me for the I don't know, Western civilization or for the truth and love? And this guy? No. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.